Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. I am Cartoonkitsune, and today I will be playing as Minty, your favorite little plushy therapy rabbit. And with me today is...
Avi! Hello! Today I'll be bringing back a character I have not played in like a year at the least. This is Ami the Angel. She has returned.
This is a very long overdue little reunion. Or technically first meeting, because it's not like these two remember each other. By the way, I'm gonna put a quick little spoiler warning for Neverending Train stuff if you guys haven't seen that yet, just because that may or may not come up. Uh, Long and short of it is that these two were in the train together, and once they left, they lost their memories of each other, yada yada yada. If you've seen the series, you know the deal. But yeah. So I'm going to start off with my gal Minty here, because recently she's been trying to do a little bit more traveling around Inkwell. For the longest time, she'd kind of been like staying primarily in Toontown, because she was a little bit scared of something bad happening if she went off on her own. But recently, she's had like more of a reason to travel around, specifically to Villestown to visit a certain little mad scientist rabbit. There was a whole altercation at the observatory in Villestown. It was a whole thing. But yeah, she's been visiting our boy Benjamin Herman Boingo Higgins, or Higgs if you can't bother to remember that. Yeah. So yeah, she's been occasionally making trips out there to visit with him. But currently, she is traveling back to Toontown from one of those visits, and I think she's definitely been getting kind of more well acquainted with the rail system of Inkwell since she's been here, been riding the trains a bit more. Wouldn't be surprised if NG helped her out, probably taught her how to read the train maps and stuff, because goodness knows those can be pretty confusing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So currently she's getting, I think she's probably at the train station. Train's pulled up, and she's hopping on there. Meanwhile, I think now would be a good time to cut over to our second player, whatever Ami's been up to. What has Ami been up to since the Neverending Train? I'm quite curious about that.
Good fucking question! I'm gonna be real, Chief. Neverending Train, ended, and I was like, God, what is Ami gonna do now?
Mm-hmm.
And, I forgot about it after a couple of weeks. But, there was for those of the listening audience who don't know, we did have a channel specifically for text roleplay for the Neverending Train.
Yeah.
Called Hot Chocolate Carriage.
Yeah. Basic premise for that. Yeah. Basic premise for that was that one of the carriages on the train was basically a little cafe where passengers could kind of rest up there for a bit, and we had quite a extensive little ongoing text RP. There was Minty, there was Ami, there was Lockin, and there was Tammy.
Yeah.
And briefly, the engineer also showed up, and there was also a Loopsy. She was there as well.
Lucy, my fucking beloved.
I love her so much.
But during that
Text
roleplay in
RP.
that channel, she Ami had written down the names of the people she had met so that she could try and remember them, because Ami's biggest issue is her amnesia.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of it, even if she has the names written down, they're kind of blurry. She doesn't like remember it. She also
Mm-hmm. Oh, technical difficulties, everyone.
Because she has amnesia.
Oh, Abby, my internet died for a sec. You cut out.
What was the last thing you heard?
It was like about Ami not being able to see the names on the she wrote down on the business card because they might be a bit blurry. Similarly to some of the stuff that was written down in the sketchbook that Minty had been carrying around.
Yeah. So she wrote down the names of the people she had met on her hand. She got a business card from the engineer. Wrote down the name Oscar. I don't think she knows what that is. Her intelligence is -1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for the most part, because to her this is a sign that she has forgotten something else, and and felt that it was important enough for her to write down. The fact that she can't even see what it is bothering her so much that she is like trying to travel around, see like what the heck it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's just been traveling for the most part.
Makes sense, yeah. That's what I kind of figured. And I'd say that in that case, would you say she's probably like already like kind of taking in her seat on the train today then?
Yeah, unfortunately, she has 2 pairs of wings, which means
That's
she
fair.
needs a lot of space.
Right on.
um, I can't imagine that someone would want to sit with her when she's got big floofy wings that could take up an entire like seat.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say I think it's probably like kind of a busy day. Like the train's probably packed pretty well, and there aren't a ton of open seats.
Yeah.
So I think like Ami probably got on there early and like reserved a seat for herself because she needs space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I think Minty kind of got on like a little bit later, so she kind of like just hops on the train like shortly before it's gonna leave. So she's walking down the aisles, kind of looking for any open spaces, not really seeing a whole lot. And I think she's getting to the point where like she's thinking like maybe she might have to stand for like a part of this ride or not. When she sees that there is technically a space next to Ami, though the back of it is of course covered with the wings. So I think she kind of considers this for a moment and is like, well, might as well give it a shot. And actually, just for fun, I want to say that like she's wearing her traveling hood, and she's the hood up. I know normally she has the ear holes, but I think like she might have like put the hood up kind of quickly, and so her ears are kind of like covered by the hood. So like
Yeah.
currently you wouldn't be able to like see like as much of her like with the hood over her and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think that Minty kind of like she kind of comes up to Ami and is like, pardon me, would you mind if I took the seat next to you, if that's okay?
And Ami looks up at Minty, and she goes, how's she say this? She says, "Oh, sure, if you don't mind the wings." And she kind of like shuffles a little bit so she can try and like tuck them in a little bit tighter. So you have a little bit more space.
That's all right. The good thing is Minty is a very small little toon, so she should be able to fit. She's like about the size of a child, so
Little. I forgot how tall I made Ami.
yeah. Probably taller than Minty, I'd assume.
Yeah, she's 5'9".
Yeah. So yeah, I think Minty is kind of like oh well, thank you. Oh, and I like your wings by the way. They're really pretty. She says.
Ami's Ami's face goes like a light shade of pink. She just says, "Oh, thank you."
And out of curiosity, I don't know if you'd want to roll for this or not. Would you say that Ami might be getting like a slight sense of deja vu from what Minty just said?
I can roll for it.
Yeah, let's go. Maybe like a wisdom. I want to say like a wisdom check.
I am so sorry. She crit failed.
Oh, honey. Aw.
It's her first appearance in months, and she crit failed.
It's alright. We still love her. So yeah, no, nope. You do not get any sense of deja vu at all. This is a perfectly normal thing to say to someone anyway. So the innocuous
Actually,
comment. Yeah.
actually, with the nat one, I think it would be funnier if I said she gets a deja vu vibe from everything. My girl does not know
Oh,
jack nor shit.
that's entirely fair. Right on. So yeah, I'd say Minty kind of hops up onto the seat, sits down to get comfortable, and I want to say she does the thing where like you take the hood off, and like normally it would be like the hair comes spilling out, but in her case it's the ears come and like pop up.
I'm imagining the sound effect and everything.
Yeah. So yeah, so now you can get a better look at what this person looks like. Yeah, little soft little green rabbit ears. They kind of look like bean bags. I think she would probably say, my name's Minty, by the way. What's your name?
Um, my name's Ami.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, Mommy. And she'll hold out a paw to shake with.
She kind of shifts a little bit and like holds well takes the hand and like shakes it. Uh, what's Minty's passive perception, by the way?
Good question. Um, it's a 16. It's pretty good.
Okay, yeah, no, this is definitely easy to get. Avi herself is a rubber hose tune, but the clothing she's wearing is real kind.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't think Minty would comment on that, but she definitely notices it, so.
Mhm. Are you heading anywhere specific?
Yep. I'm heading back to Toontown. That's where I'm currently staying. What about you? You heading there as well?
Uh, yeah. Actually, if you're heading to Toontown, um, she kind of fidgets a little bit, uh, and she says, well, do you know anything about, I could do a really ridiculous bit.
Go for it. I'll always go for the
mispronounce
bit.
mispronounce a word. I'll just put the cadence wrong because I can be taken. Okay.
Okay.
And she looks like she's trying to like. She looks a slightly sheepish because she doesn't actually know what it is and therefore doesn't know if she's saying it right. So she's just uh oh, Dodo Studios?
Um, I think at first Minty is she's about to like cheerfully reply and she's like oh yeah, I totally know about that. But then she kind of stops herself, and I'm gonna have her roll an insight on Ami. Get this because Minty does kind of have a reason why she would not want to immediately admit that she's associated with Dodo Studios. Okay. Oh my god, that's a nat 20. Okay. Never mind.
You read this angel to filth and bag, okay.
It's like,
She wasn't even lying. I
no,
don't even know how she would deceive this.
no. Here's the thing. Like, Minty is like just ever so slightly paranoid about like what if like the Yakuza come for her again, because like they're the first time she came to Inkwell, and also if she's associated with Dodo Studios at all, like that kind of puts a target on her back in some capacity. But yeah, I think with that nat 20, she can tell like yeah, no, this is completely innocent question. This is not like
It's
secretly a bad guy in disguise or anything.
yeah. Not only is this like entirely innocent,
Mm-hmm.
this angel genuinely does not know what it is.
Aww.
which is probably wild
Yeah, because
because
like, it's kind of famous, like to say the very least.
yeah.
Yeah. So obviously there's like a split second hesitation before Minty answers like, oh yeah, I know that. That's actually where I'm staying currently. A lot of my friends are there. And I work there too. Why do you ask?
Oh, well, maybe you can help me with something. And she takes like a moment to like reach into her reach under her glove and I'm going to actually roll a d10 because I think it would be funny.
Mm-hmm.
No fucking way.
What'd she get?
She got a 1.
Oh my
Sorry,
god, I was
it's
hoping
fine.
this would happen. Okay, okay, we'll roll the fumble table.
Oh gosh, I don't think I actually have like a custom fumble table for her.
Let
I
me get like
should
the
get on
generic
that.
one then. I'll pull that up.
Where's there it is. I found it.
Oh, you got it? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, she is pulling this out of her glove, so I don't think this would work because a 15 is the dancer's outfit. So what I think what happens instead is she pulls out like
Mm-hmm.
a a dancing shoe,
Like a
and
tap
she's
shoe or
just like,
something.
yeah, and she's just like, oh, that's not it.
Right,
She's gonna try again.
right. I think the rule for that is that has to be like above a 5, I think, because it like.
That's a 4.
Okay, so let me.
And this time it's an 8, so this time she's pulling out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a finger trap.
I think like as for the gag, she probably gets her finger stuck in that.
Yeah, she's just like, she kind of stares blankly at it. And she kind of looks at Minty like she looks so sorry.
Oh.
She
I
looks
think.
like
Oh.
she is trying. She's trying
Yes.
so hard.
Fortunately, Minty is very patient, so I think she's just like, running gag again. I gotcha. Take your time, miss. She's definitely giggling a little bit at it though, like she can't really help
Okay,
herself.
she rolled a 6 again, so I
Yeah,
think
that's above a
that's
5, so I think that's good because it's like a 50%
okay.
chance, basically.
Yeah. And what she pulls out well, she fiddles with the toy, the finger trap toy, and she kind of
Yeah,
like fidgets with it for a little bit, and before she finally gets it off, sticks her
yeah.
hand back under her
Mhm.
glove, and she pulls out a business card.
Mhm. And this would be a very familiar business card to Minty, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I want to say, like, just so it's on record, I did not get the chance to talk to Maud about
Mhm.
this in DM, so
Yeah.
whatever happens.
Right. We can retcon if necessary, but for the time being, as a little recap for the hot chocolate carriage, when NG, or rather Oscar, briefly visited for a bit, um, he did give out some business cards to the folks that were all assembled there, and that would include Ami as well.
Yeah. And she shows it to Minty and she goes, would you know if this is real? And
And
like as she hands it over, there is like something written on it that like is definitely not like normal for the
mhm.
business cards, but like yeah.
Yeah, probably looks like very like maybe you could kind of see it, but like it's too blurry to like make out completely. And I think like the moment Ami pulls out this business card, her eyes like widen and she goes like very quiet, and she kind of very carefully takes this business card. And she doesn't say anything for a few moments. She's just kind of like very carefully like looking over it, like examining the signature. And I'm also going to have her roll hammer space as well for a little something. Let's see. All right, that's an 8. So yeah, so she reaches behind her back and she pulls out an almost identical business card. The only difference being that there's no writing on hers. And she holds them both up to compare the two. And I think she says, "Where did you get this card?"
There's like a brief moment of stylized sweat drops, and she does that thing where like she taps 2 fingers
Mm-hmm.
together, and she looks very embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and she kind of fumbles with her words for a second before she says, "Well, that's the thing. I don't
You don't remember?
remember."
I want to
Yeah,
say, you think they say that like in unison?
yeah.
Yeah. I see. That actually makes a lot of sense. I think like she'll put her own card back and hand Ami's card back to Ami. Hmm. Okay, this is gonna be an odd question if I'm wrong. Did you recently have sort of a bout of amnesia? Possibly you might have gone missing for a day or two, and then you were suddenly back. Something along those lines.
She kind of sinks into her chair, and her shoulders kind of like hike up, and she says, I'm sorry. I don't really remember a lot of things, period."
Oh, I think Minty kind of gives her a sympathetic look, and I think she kind of like extends a paw to like kind of like gently place it on top of like maybe Ami's like side or something, like side of her arm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but well, either way, I think I might have an idea of what this is and how you got this card, because something kind of similar happened to me a while back.
She kind of, oh, excuse me. She kind of brightens up like that from that and says,
Mhm.
"Wait, really?"
She nods. Well, I can't say for certain if this is exactly what might have happened, but it's much too similar to be a coincidence, I'm sure. Because you see, the reason I asked that is because something like that kind of happened to me a, a while ago. Um, it's been quite a while by now, actually. What happened was I disappeared for 2 days, and none of my friends knew where I'd gone. And then I suddenly came back, but I couldn't remember where I had been. But I had that. What I did have was that business card. And I think like at this point she might kind of we kind of fade out as like she goes into like kind of a recap of like sort of what happened with her whole little journey. Where she had this business card in the sketchbook that belonged to somebody named the engineer. How she traveled from her home to Inkwell to try and find this person. How the engineer also like had vanished for a couple of days and had no memory. And she might even bring up the fact that and and actually I was just in Villestown visiting another person who had something similar happen to them as well. And so I'm thinking you might be one of us, so to speak. One of the, like another person who disappeared in the same way. I mean, it would make a lot of sense.
And she's kind of nodding, and she kind of pauses for a second, and she says, "I mean, I I I wouldn't know, but it's kind of weird. I don't know how to explain, because again, I don't really remember a lot of things, but around the time I found that in my glove, and she kind of like reaches over to like pull off her glove and like shows you her palm.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there is something written there.
Mm-hmm.
I found this written all over my hand, but I don't really know what it is.
Mm-mm. I'm thinking if I should roll. I'm thinking either like some kind of wisdom check or maybe investigation.
I leave that up to you, man. It's been
Hmm.
forever since I've done like anything related to any
Fair enough. Yeah.
Neverending Train. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna try investigation. Let me see.
Oof.
Oh, that's a 4. Yeah, not very good. I think that in that case, let me also see if like Minty gets a headache from this. All right, wisdom save. Wait, nope, that's not correct. Hold on. Okay, yeah, no, she's fine. I think she like might maybe like this isn't quite wince, but like she kind of like has to blink a couple of times, like she gets like a maybe sort of like a fuzziness in her head for a split second. And this still kind of works out too because I think she says, "Oh, that's just like the sketchbook." Oh, I should explain. Uh, well, when I found the business card, I also had this sketchbook that had a bunch of writing in it, but I couldn't read the writing. It was all blurry. But I think this is kind of a similar thing. Um, I think it's whatever made me forget, and might have made you forget too, is making it so we can't read this stuff.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, she doesn't know what to make of that.
Yeah.
She's kind of just like glancing back down at her palm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the one hand, if you have that card, then that means you might be another one of Benji's friends too that he forgot about. Kind of like what happened with me. I mean, he doesn't give those cards out to anybody. I mean, he told me that they're pretty special. Usually, only folks that he is either friends with, or if he's scouting for talent for one of his movies. So it's kind of a special thing to have. So that's good, right?
Uh, I'm gonna roll a charisma check for her because
Oh,
oh honey,
oh, what'd she get?
it's a 7 on a dice.
Oh, oh, it's 9. Oh, what happens?
Her face goes like from like a light shade of pink to a rosier
Oh,
pink, and she goes, I well, and she's like, I don't know what talent would I would offer.
oh,
She looks entirely
oh
flustered.
gosh. Oh, oh golly, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to control flustered like that. Um, but I did mean when I said though that those cards are pretty special though. So
I, well, if you say so. I mean, the only thing I'm really good at is with my heart, but
ooh, I think Minty kind of brightens up at that. Well, you play the harp?
oh, yeah, it's here we go with the fumble charts. Well, with the
Yeah,
rolls at least.
yeah, with the hammer space.
Man, the hammer space. That's another fumble.
Oh, honey, no. I mean, it kind of makes sense because like she's flustered right now. So
Yeah. All right, what's number 6? Uh, oh, I can make this a joke. Okay.
hmm
I think this time she actually reaches into her behind her back for this.
Mm-hmm.
And she pulls out a half empty canteen. And she's like, darn it. And she's gonna try again. That's a 3.
That's a 3. Got twice in one FPS. Man.
She got a 6 again, so she pulls it back out and she's just like, no! Okay, that's a 9. She gets it
much
this time.
better. Golly, that must be like a running gag or something for you.
She kind of just throws her arms into the air, like, maybe, I don't know.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
Gosh. Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, so she pulls out the harp. Oh.
She pulls out the harp. She has it, and like she kind of like plucks a string from it. And you can see it. It's a very pretty harp. And she says, "I don't know where I got this either, but I've had it ever since I as long as I can remember." Which, well, when I say it like that probably doesn't mean much, but it's one of the oldest things I do remember.
I think Minty kind of nods along with that. She might say, you can stop me at any time if this is too personal or anything. But how far back do you remember, if you don't mind sharing?
All right. I am tempted to see if she can figure out how long ago it was. So I'm just gonna roll her a quick history. That was actually pretty decent. I love her so much. Okay. She she takes a moment and like she looks like she's trying to think, and she's like trying to count for a second. She says it was a couple of years ago. There I kind of woke up on the beach one day, and then I kind of got picked up by some people who helped me, but after that I've just kind of been wandering around.
I see. I'm sorry that happened to you.
And she kind of just shrugs and she says, I have a feeling I would feel sorry too, but I don't really remember what happened in the first place.
Oh yeah, that's fair enough. So you've just been traveling around since then?
And she nods and she says, I've been trying to find stuff about me, because when I woke up, the only thing I really had was and she kind of pauses and she says, when I woke up, my name Ami was written on my hand, but it was a little smudged, kind of like this. So I'm kind of hoping I can find something anyway.
Minty thinks for a moment. Well, I'm not really an expert on amnesia specifically, uh, but I do know, I guess there are a few different ways that amnesia could be caused. I know there's one spell that could do it. I have no idea if, it'd be magic or anything. Have you ever tried going to a cleric and having them cast, what was it? Greater Restoration? I think that's the one?
And she kind of fidgets and she says, I am a cleric.
Oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Huh.
I don't think I have that spell, but
Yeah,
it
I was gonna
kind of.
say it's one of the more kind of stronger spells. I'm a cleric too, but I don't know that one. It's a little advanced for me.
Yeah, I haven't been able to talk to anyone about it either. I
Hmm.
haven't really found anyone that
Hmm.
can do it.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, I mean, we're heading to Toontown. Maybe you could find someone there who could help with it. Trying to think. I can't think off the top of my head of like anyone Minty knows who's a cleric specifically. It might come to me later, but
yeah, no,
yeah,
that's
she
fair.
I have a specific person that she would suggest for it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Um. Well, well, again, sorry if I'm praying again. In the meantime, do you have somewhere to stay, like an inn or something? You get the sense that like she's kind of just trying to check, like, is this person okay? Like if they're sad or if they like need any like help with that kind of situation.
Oh, I haven't really thought about where I'm gonna stay when I get there, but usually I am able to get like a little bit of a room if I perform for an inn uh harp in her lap.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I've heard about that. Bards doing that. I've never had to do that myself before, but I've heard of that being a thing. I guess that works out. She thinks for a minute. On the one hand, I would offer to maybe stay at the place where I'm staying, but unfortunately, we've kind of had tighter security around the studio lately.
Oh, I wouldn't want to impose or anything, cause
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. I do want to ask though if it's okay if I tell the engineer about you when I next see him. He's been a bit busy lately, but because I mean if you did have that business card, then there's a chance that well he hesitates for a moment. Well, I mean we kind of realized that me and him were friends, but we forgot that we were friends. But if you have that card, then there's a chance that it might be the same for you. That you might have been his friend or something.
and she kind of thinks for a moment and then she nods and she's like, "Yeah, I mean, I had it for a reason and I don't really remember and I would like to remember." Um,
Hmm. And she nods like very understanding, like, that's exactly how it was for me when I found the card after I got back from well wherever it was I ended up. It's hmm. Actually I have kind of started to remember a little more about the place I was in, but thing is it's was really strange. It's like every memory I have, it seems like a completely different place. Like once I remembered being in an ocean, and then I remembered there's this big tower, and then I remembered some kind of place with a lot of gears, and you gotta list off a few places like that. So I still don't really know what sort of place we ended up in.
it sounds like you get around a lot.
You'd be surprised. Actually, only recently I've been traveling around too much. I mean, I lived in my home for quite a long time, decades, centuries even. And then and then when I came to Ike, I kind of stuck around Toontown for a while, but recently, like I told you about my friend Higgs over in Villestown. I started visiting him more. It's definitely a little bit scary traveling around on my own like this. Well, actually, I guess I'm not completely on my own. I do have my little travel buddy here, and I'm gonna roll another hammer space for this one. Okay. Actually, I think before she kind of starts to reach in, but then she says, oh gosh, I almost forgot to ask. Are you scared of bugs at all?
I like bugs.
Oh,
I think.
perfect. Oh, then I'm sure you'll like this then. Come on out, Mr. Wiggly. Come on. And she's kind of cooing to whatever she's pulling out, and she takes out from her cloak. It takes a little bit to get it out entirely because she pulls out this very long, very colorful caterpillar-looking thing that's made up of these round, colorful like wooden segments, and they have these like, and it has these very floppy like little rope limbs with like little wooden like feet, and the face has like these like two goofy little googly eyes, and it's also wearing a little red bow tie with white polka dots on it.
I think Ami just coos.
Aww. Yeah, this is my friend Mr. Wiggly. I only adopted him recently. There was I won't get into how we met. It was a bit of a mess, but he used to be not quite so nice. Now I'm teaching him to be nicer to people. And isn't that right, Mr. Wiggly? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I think she's kind of like patting part of the segments.
Ami kind of like lifts a hand and then she's like, "Can I also pet?"
Oh, of course. And I think she'll kind of like hold up Mr. Wiggly to her. I think the worm, the worm just kind of stares blankly at you with like this big googly eyes.
She stares back and kind of just like. I'm trying to like figure out how to describe how she's doing it. She's kind of like presenting her hand before like she actually moves into pet to see if this little worm guy will accept it.
I think it just kind of like stares blankly for a couple more seconds, and it just kind of like plumps its little like wooden head into her hand. Aw, he likes you.
Hang on. Hang on. You know that hold it on emoji that like we've got?
Yeah, with the tears. Aww.
She's like, ah. That's how she's feeling.
Oh, that's adorable. Yeah. I think it's just Mr. Wiggly's not moving like too, but just kind of like flop there with his head in her hand. That's a good boy, Mr. Wiggly. Yes, that's very nice.
She can't move her hand. The
Oh.
worm has dubbed her comfy cozy.
Oh, the worm has accepted you.
A worm.
Oh, worm.
Sniffling through tears. A worm.
Oh gosh.
But it isn't her. So she's just sitting there with her hand like stuck under this worm.
Yeah. I mean, she has her other hand free. She can probably like pat the top of like her like those little antennas.
Yeah, that's like what she does. She's just like, I've been accepted.
You have. And she's just absolutely delighted by this. Like,
Yeah.
her worm has made a friend. He's doing such a good job, and he hasn't tried to bite anyone yet. Well, to be fair, I think because we talked about this that like when Wood like modified the toys, mechanically Mr. Wiggly can't bite anyone anymore. So I'm thinking like he probably like welded the jaw shut or something.
Oh my god.
Or because he has like the painted on smile. In the game proper, like there was kind of I think it like the wood kind of like cracked open for the mouth, and it was very disturbing.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Fortunately, though, after the modifications, he's much more adorable. Even like Yeah, like kind of the googly eyes with like the paint that like was kind of fading, so it does a kind of like creepy old toy like sort of look. But it looks like the paint has been like painted over again, so now they're all black and shiny and much more adorable.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is a very good worm.
he is.
Like after a bit,
Yeah,
if allowed, Ami will pull her hand back,
yeah.
and she goes, "It was very nice to meet you, Mister. Was it Wiggly?
Mr. Wiggly, yeah.
Mister Wiggly."
I think yeah, I think the limbs are kind of like flopping around like slightly. Like it can crawl around. Like once Ami's done petting him, he'll crawl back into Minty's lap. I think Minty kind of like takes one of the little floppy like rope limbs and kind of like makes him wave at Ami.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, trying to think what else they would talk about because I mean it's a pretty decently long train ride back to Toontown. So
Yeah, it's like across the continent, if I remember right.
exactly, it's like a few hours. So
Mm-hmm. I'm also trying to think of what
yeah.
she would talk about, and she says, "Oh, you said you worked at that studio?
Yes, actually, I'm the studio's therapist.
Does she know what a therapist
I was about
is?"
to ask actually. Do you want to roll? I don't know if this would be history or straight intelligence. I mean, I'm guessing it's probably a similar mod for both, right?
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
All right.
That's a 5.
Oh, sweetheart. Aw.
She kind of looks very sheepish again, and she says, I feel bad for asking, but what's a therapist?"
Aw. Would you believe you're not the first person to ask me that question? It's
That
alright. Don't
makes
worry.
that makes me feel a little better.
um. Well. Let's see. Well, I guess the simple answer is a therapist is somebody who helps people with their problems by talking to them. There's a bit more to it than that, of course. I also work with a lot of people who have mental disorders and mental illnesses, or just general problems. All kinds of stuff.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, so why I mentioned earlier, I'm not really an expert on amnesia in particular. Um, I do know sometimes it can be caused by let me think. Well, no, head trauma is a common one, and there's also magical. But again, I don't know as much about the details of it, so sorry, I can't help you more with that.
Oh no, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she kind of fumbles a little bit, and before she says, "It's you know."
Yeah. Well, can't be easy to deal with. I mean, I only had a very brief kind of bout of amnesia after I got back, and even that was a little bit scary for me. So I can't even imagine how it must feel for you.
And she kind of shrugs, and she says, "Well, you said something about head trauma."
She nods. Yes. See, I know. I think the scientific term is bronchus of the conchus, specifically when applied to tunes.
Oh, oh,
Had to slip that
sorry,
in there.
I wasn't expecting it, but oh,
Listen, these are tunes, man. I guarantee you that it would canonically be Bacchus the Caucus for this
no,
scientific
you're
terms.
right, because like when Camille had his concussion, they called it a bonkus of the conkus. An inmate
Exactly.
had to say that.
Yeah. I want to believe it's like only specifically when it applies to tunes. Like if it's real kind, then it's like just a concussion.
Yeah, and I think she goes, That's when you hit your head like really really hard, right?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know in certain cases,
Um, and
yep.
then
Oh, sorry, you go.
to me, because she kind of like fidgets a little bit. I said that I remembered waking up on a beach, but for a while, hmm, it's not really a memory, but sometimes I feel like something that's really, really familiar to me is falling.
Hmm. Actually, let me hang on. We'll roll a quick whiz save for Minty, for when you mentioned falling. Okay, yeah, it's 20, she's fine. Yeah. I think there might be like a very brief, like almost imperceptible shudder when you mentioned falling.
Oof.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
I do.
Yeah. But yeah, and she says, well, yeah, that can definitely be dangerous to say the least. Do you think actually, do you remember at all when you woke up, were you in pain? Was your head or your body hurting?
That's a very good question. Do you remember as I rolled dice?
Yeah.
Had the 7 on the dice. I'm so
Ooh.
sorry.
We can't give her advantage because like this is like a specific thing, can we? Or
Yeah, okay.
actually, I'll give
Alright.
you guidance. I could probably like have her slap a guidance on that. So maybe reroll that and add a d4.
Alright, so that's... Oh, that's cucked. Okay, hang on, let me try that again. Alright, not too bad, not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And guidance is a D4, right?
Yeah.
So that just negates the -1 modifier, so that's a 16.
Hey, that's pretty good. So yeah, Ami, what can you remember with that?
Um, well, let's... And she kind of pauses, like she's trying like very, very hard. Her like expression is like screwed and scrunched up as she's trying to think, trying to remember. Um,
I think Mitty's kind of like gently telling her, like, it's okay, take your time. And
she
that's
says,
probably play for the guidance. Yeah.
yeah, and she says, uh, it's hard to say. I remember being very, very cold, and that might have been the water, but I do remember um everything hurting for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I think Mitty kind of glances at the wings, like, for a moment, thinking, well, hmm, I wonder, you do have those wings. Do you think maybe you might have been flying somewhere and then maybe you fell and that's how you got knocked out?
And she kind of shrugs and she says, "Well, kind of hums a little." She says, "I don't know. Well, right now I don't really know how to fly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, mechanically, she doesn't have anything that like lets her have a flying speed.
Fair enough, yeah.
That might change in the future,
Right,
but
right.
we'll see."
Yeah.
So she's just like, if I was flying then, maybe I don't know.
Hmm. Like you said, it's just one possibility. Can't really say for certain.
Yeah, I mean, and she kind of pauses, like she's trying to figure out how to phrase this, and she eventually just says, I don't know. It's you know, I want to remember, but then when I think about it, it's like, do I really want to know what happened there, or it's it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I see. That makes sense. Hmm. Well, I think when it comes to something like this, I think it's good to try and maybe try and remember at your own pace, but maybe don't push yourself too much. And on the one hand, even if you don't have any memories of your past, you still have the opportunity to make new memories.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of do want to remember this. She kind of like fidgets a little bit. I think she is going to make for the hammer space again. Fuck.
Right. Fingers crossed.
Okay, she gets it this time.
Hey, nice.
She gets like a pen, and then she moves to her one hand that she already took the glove off of, and then she realizes that there's like already stuff written down on it, and then she like
Mm-hmm.
moves to take off the other glove
Mm-hmm.
and like uncaps the like marker or whatever, and she goes, just so I can get it right, how do you spell your name?
Oh, it's Minty. Minty.
And as you say that, she writes that down, and she says, I don't want to forget this. So
Well, if it helps, I do know sending, so I could always send you a message, 'cause I don't know where you're heading after this,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know where I'm heading to either.
well, wherever you head, at least you have, one more friend, and you can count on. Or maybe I should say two more friends, as he kind of holds Mr. Wiggly up a little bit.
And Ami like just kind of grins at that.
Yeah,
She's very happy about this. She's made a friend.
yeah. She's made two friends, one of which was a
She's
worm.
made two friends. Worm.
Worm friend!
A worm.
Oh, worm.
But yeah, she writes that down, kind of like blows on the ink so that it'll like dry faster, and then like caps the marker, puts that back into her hammer space, and then like um fixes the glove on the hand she just wrote on, and then she kind of,
Mhm.
I'm very tempted to roll something to see if she gets like a even bigger deja vu with the other hand, because this just happened.
Sure, go for it. Let's see how she rolls. If not, like it's like maybe advantage because this is like such a similar thing.
Yeah, should it be whiz or history or
Yeah.
uh,
If this isn't working, I do have one more idea to like maybe jog your memory a little.
all right.
Yeah.
So the first roll was a 15 on the dice. And you said it,
Mm-hmm.
or
Sorry,
I'm
what?
just gonna do 15.
Yeah.
So that's a 14, and she kind of like pauses as she kind of like stares at her like other hand, and she's like kind of squints at it.
Actually, I should roll for Minty as well. Let's see. This would be another wisdom check probably.
Yeah.
So that's just the 3. Oh, that one. Aw.
No!
See, unfortunately, this doesn't jog Minty's memory, but it might jog Ami's a little bit better.
And she kind of like stares at her palm for a little bit. I did intelligence. I like as a history. I don't know if that was it should have been a wisdom, but
It's alright. It's about the same, I'd say.
yeah. She kind of like is staring very intently at her palm, and she just goes, this feels familiar.
Hmm. I want to say that the 14. I'm not. I feel like maybe like the writing on the other hand might start to clear up a tiny bit more, but like it's not completely legible. But it's like the shapes are starting to look a little bit similar. And if she does out loud say that like this feels familiar, I think Minty might chime in with like are you getting the deja vu? I've gotten it too before. When it's kind of like when I remember something from the stuff I forgot, but it's like a memory that's not mine, but it is that kind of weird feeling. You know what I mean?
And she nods like very rapidly, like yeah, normally I write stuff down on my hands when I really want to remember something, and I think that's what this is. And she kind of like opens her palm again so that Minty can see again.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, it's not a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's not a whole lot of room on your hands.
Hit.
Hello. Oh, sorry, the internet died for a sec. Sorry, Minty was saying
Oh, internet.
internet. Okay, but Minty was saying there's not a lot of room on your hands. Have you ever thought of getting a notebook or something?
She kind of pauses and she says, what does she do?
Mm-hmm.
She goes, well, see.
I feel like it's that audible like dot as she like realizes this.
And she's just like, I travel a lot. I don't have a lot in the ways of gold.
Oh.
Well, like I said, I mostly just perform for a place to stay, and
No, I get that. Well, I do have a decent bit of spare gold on me. Oh, you know what? There's this little bookstore and cafe that's not too far from the studio. Maybe when we arrive in Toontown, we could go there. We could get a notebook from there. We could stop at the cafe too. That place is the best. They have the best hot chocolate there. And I think when she says that, we can probably roll whiz saves again.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Alright, so if it's a whiz save, that is definitely higher than her history.
Absolutely. So. Minty's is pretty high too, so come on. Ooh, it's a 19 on the die and a 26 total.
Oh gosh, hang on. Where is her modifier? This is your wisdom. Alright. Oh yeah! I rolled shit stats for you!
Oh.
Like, literally everything is a +2 except her intelligence. How did that happen?
Oh, honey. She's doing her best.
Yeah, so that's a 16.
Okay, 16. Yeah. Well, I think it's like that, like, Minty definitely remembers, and I think, Ami, like, at least partially remembers. And honestly, like, considering like, much of Minty's memories have been, like, coming back, I think she definitely, like, kind of has a zone out moment for a few seconds where she's pretty much like just mentally transported back to a certain carriage on the train. It was very calm, very cozy little cafe, and she can see herself sitting at a table with peppermint hot chocolate in front of her, big pile of cream on top of it, and she's talking to some people. And two of the faces are kind of blurry. She can't really make out the features as well. But sitting right next to her, is Ami, who I believe she was drinking an iced coffee at the time, if memory serves.
Yeah, like an iced latte or something.
Iced latte, yeah. And it's this very, like, kind of sweet little scene. Like, they're all just, like, talking, like, kind of sharing their experiences on the train, even, like, kind of theorizing, like, why they might be on there. I think the conversation itself is, like, it's hard to remember, like, what exactly was said. It's more kind of the vibe of the scene. Like, just this cozy little place, being among friends, talking about stuff. It's kind of nice little reprieve from like all the adventures and whatnot. And yeah, I think like she's not like zoning out for like too long, but like maybe long enough that like Ami might like kind of notice that she's zoned out for a moment.
Yeah, and she's just like, Miss Minty, are you okay?
Hot choc. And she kind of blinks a sec, like iced coffee. You ordered iced coffee. Wait, what?
Huh?
I think I remembered something again. I think I saw you. It was a cafe, and and there were other people there, and we had drinks, and I think like as she's describing this with that 16, like you might be starting to get like kind of a sense of deja vu, like as she's describing the scene. Like at the very least, it feels familiar. Like it sounds familiar to you. You don't like quite remember this happening, but like the way she's describing it feels like something that might have happened. Like it feels familiar. Is the thing.
Sorry, that made me want to do a bit.
Please do.
She kind of just blurts out loud really loudly. She just goes, I did!
I think at this point, like if people in the train car haven't been like glancing at them, they definitely did at that point. But I feel like the two of them are probably like too excited that like they don't even notice.
Yeah. And she's just like, oh, sorry. I did! I I don't really remember a lot else, but that definitely did happen. I think I did that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Do you know what this means?
What?
I think this might mean that we might have been friends too.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Ami's only response to that in my head was,
Aww. Yeah. I wonder if we should roll for this because I think Minty's like instinct would be to like go in for the hug. Like she's
yeah.
yeah. I don't think I'm gonna roll. I think I'm just gonna see like she's so excited about this that like without even thinking she just like goes in for the hug. It's like this is wonderful. Oh my gosh.
And she kind of like holds you like really tightly. She's hugging you so tight.
I think she has to say like I'm so glad I found
And after a second, Ami is
you.
you kind of hear her sniffling.
Oh. I think Minty just kind of like hugs her even tighter. And by the way, Ami, this is like probably one of the best hugs we've ever had because Minty is absurdly soft. She's like kind of get this like warmth from her chest, like where the pink heart is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
it is such a good hug.
Ami also like hugs with her wings, so
Oh, I'm just imagining this like scene of the train. Like she's like Minty's just kind of nestled like up to her chest, and Ami's got like all the wings like kind of curled around her. It's just
yeah.
this sweet little moment between them.
And she's kind of just like she's starting to cry a little bit, and she just goes,
Oh.
I remembered something.
Oh. God. Nah, I'm gonna start tearing up, man. Yeah, I think
She's
they probably
really
just.
excited. She finally like remembered.
Yeah, I think they just kind of stay like that for a little while. Like, and she's just kind of snuggling up to her, and Ami crying a little bit. And honestly, I think we could probably end it off there. Like, I think,
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
really soft place
yeah,
to end off.
yeah. I think needless to say, after this, like they'll probably like once they reach Toontown, maybe hang out a bit more and discuss some stuff. For the most part, I think this is a good place to end things off. That these two have remembered that they were friends and they knew each other at some point and forgot about it, but now they've found each other once more, and it's just such a sweet moment.
Crying.
Handshakes, also crying. Aww.
And
Yeah,
thank you so much for playing with me, Kit.
no, and thank you for playing with me too. I'm so glad that we finally had these two come like find each other because like it's like I said at the beginning, it's been way overdue, and I love these two together. They were so sweet, like in the hot chocolate carriage.
I'm so
Ooh.
glad.
Ah! Okay.
And oh, do you want to close this off?
Yeah, I was gonna say now's a good time to close this off, unless you have any final words.
Nah, I'm good.
All right, we're gonna end the recording here, but thank you everybody listening in the future, and we wish you all a very good time zone. Goodbye, everybody.